What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Brewed for Life podcast. I hope everybody had a good week. I hope you checked out the last episode. Outside of that, today is Sunday, Football Sunday, so I'll be brewing and hopefully watching my Giants win a damn football game since they've been up and down. This week, I'm brewing a brown ale, which I posted up on the social media page and did a little blurb and stuff for the YouTube channel. So if you didn't check those things out, check them out. I decided to do a brown ale for this last beer because, as we get closer to those colder days, I tend to not want to drink like an IPA every single day like I do for the summertime. And I haven't done a brown ale in easily 10 years. So really excited about getting this beer done today. And again, hopefully watching my Giants win a football game. Outside of all that stuff, the wife and I have been talking about a bunch of different things, and she's been listening to some of the Candace Owens podcasts and some of the stuff that she has floating around out there. And I actually got her into watching the show Tracker. And if you guys haven't watched that, I absolutely really, really love this show. It is so balanced. There's a little bit of drama. There's a little bit of behind the scenes like background on the individual characters. And there's a lot of moving pieces. And what I really like about it is that, yes, every episode kind of has the same theme of him going to get some kind of a reward for finding somebody or helping somebody out. But the stories that come along with it are absolutely incredible. They're very well written. And I had already watched a whole bunch of the episodes, but I thought that she would really enjoy it because it kind of balances what she likes, which is like the Grey's Anatomy kind of shows, and what I like, which is a little bit more of the action stuff. And it kind of blends all of that stuff together, and we've been kind of making our way through the first season on that. And like I said, it's great. If you haven't checked it out, you should definitely check it out. I think they're working on season 3 is rolling out right now, so you've got plenty of time to kind of binge watch the first 2 seasons and then get caught up with where things are at right now. The other thing that I checked out, which I thought was actually pretty good, and I wasn't a fan of The Office. Like, I didn't try to watch it, but like I know a lot of people got into it. But my son and I were watching the show Tires the other day, and I actually like it. And he goes, this show is very similar to how The Office is written. Just kind of a lot of nuances would go on within a business, and the joking and the poking and all this other kind of stuff. And I watched all of that stuff already. So a couple of good shows that I've been trying to check it out, and I've really enjoyed both of them. So if you haven't watched Tires and you're not familiar with it, it's got Shane Gillis in it, the comedian, and some other like cameos from different people. Really, really funny. Just a really good, you don't even have to think about it. You can just watch it and laugh, and there's definitely some things that go on in there that everybody can relate to back to work, and things that they see at work. So check that stuff out. Even if you don't like Shane Gillis, like, this show is, I think it's pretty well done. Outside of all that stuff, what have you guys been up to? For me, it's been kind of a busy week, and I am actually really excited with where things are at with work. Like, I've got a couple of new accounts open, and I don't know if I've mentioned it, but what I do is I work in sales, and I've got a couple of new accounts open, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm just waiting for them to kind of finish doing their paperwork, and things are really starting to take off, which I am incredibly excited about. One of the best parts about my job is that not only do I make money by selling things to people, but I get to be kind of, like an intermediary where I get to help them try to figure out some of the sticking points and stuff that are going on within their business, and then give them options to be able to do it. And I am absolutely, if anybody who's met me personally knows that I am not like a pushy person, and I think I am that way in this job because I worked so long in retail that any of those vendors and salesmen and whatever else that came in, I never liked dealing with the pushy ones, the ones that were like, oh, you have to buy this and you need to do this and blah, 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 blah. That's not how I handle this job that I'm in now. I handle it more as a consultant. If I get extra sales out of it, great. But like at the end of the day, my job is easier when the people I do business with are successful. So I look at all those other things and what my skill set can bring to them to help them make their business better. I'm not pushy about it. I share what I can share without trying to step on people's toes, because at the end of the day, it's not my business and I'm not the one who makes the final decision, but I can, I found a way to be able to have these conversations openly with people, and I'm incredibly happy that those pieces are really starting to kind of come together and things are starting to take off. So that's kind of where things are at on that personal level. Outside of that, I had mentioned that like today's a Sunday. Today's a day where Ian and I kind of hang out. We watch a little football. We typically do some cooking. We'll fry some wings and whatever else. Today, obviously, I'm brewing, so I won't be doing all the extra stuff. But football's been pretty good, and I've been really excited about sports more so in the last year than I have been in a long time. Like I now enjoy watching college football again on Saturdays. I definitely try to catch as many hockey games as I can. It doesn't matter if it's the Rangers, who I love, or if it's the Bruins. As long as it's good hockey. I've even started watching some like Division I NCAA collegiate hockey, and that stuff's been really good. I'm excited about the college basketball scene and kind of get that rolling again. I don't know what's going on with me where I am getting back to enjoying watching all this stuff again. I loved it a lot in my early 20s. Like I wouldn't go to sleep without watching college basketball, and I paid more attention to it. And I kind of moved away from it for a long period of time. And maybe it's the fact that with Cameron now and him, getting close to being 3 and all the things that are going to happen in his life, where it's kind of re-sparked some of those things where I want him to enjoy sports as much as I did. And I tried to do it, as much as I could with Ian when Ian was little, but, it was a very different dynamic as to all the moving pieces that were going on in my life at the time, where I didn't get to do all those other things with him. I want to try to fix those missteps and those mishaps with Cameron now, and I'm loving it. And he'll sit and watch as much as he can. He doesn't really fully understand what the heck's going on, but I think he does have a natural intrigue towards sports, and I definitely want to feed that. I love sports. I can't wait to watch him start to do a sport, whatever it is. I don't care if it's soccer, basketball, baseball, hockey, football. I don't care what it is. I just want him to go out there and enjoy it and play it and understand the game and love the game and do all of those things. And I really, really am excited to spend my weekends sitting in a lawn chair watching him play these sports. Again, something else that working in retail I didn't really fully get to enjoy with my older son when he was that age. I spent too much time working. I had to work on the weekends, so I missed a lot of that stuff. And it's not that I don't want to miss it now. It's I have the time to be there now. I have the time to be there to watch his practices and to be able to go and enjoy all of those games. And I have this. It's an energy, I guess. It's a lot of different things that I'm feeling when it comes to that kind of stuff. And it's a happiness. It's an excitement. It's a little anxiousness because I definitely don't want to be. I've never been that dad that screams and yells at sports, but I don't know. Maybe it was because I didn't really have much of an opportunity to do that. When Ian played basketball, it was at the high school level and middle school, and it wasn't a time or a place for that kind of thing. So I never did it. I didn't want to embarrass him. I wanted him to just kind of focus on being able to play the game. Not that I think I'm going to do that with Cameron, but it's definitely something that crosses my mind. Like, am I going to be able to be quiet when I need to be quiet? And I don't know. I think about it a lot. Outside of that, life has been great. I can't really express how happy I am with where things are at with my life right now. I have the best partner that I could possibly ask for. She is everything I'm not. She's incredibly supportive. She's a fantastic mom. She brings me to my center, where I'm not so reactive. I definitely think more now about how I'm reacting than I ever have, and by no means whatsoever am I saying I'm perfect at any of that, but I'm definitely better than I was. And it's so exciting to see her kind of move closer to center to, who I am as a person. And it's wild to see how well her and I are literally like a yin and a yang, where we literally balance each other out. And it's everything that you growing up expect your relationship to be, but I get to enjoy it later on in life. I get to have all of those things that I've always wanted, and it's humbling, it's relaxing, it's calming, it's a lot of different things. And I really wouldn't be who I am or be doing the things that I do at this point in life if it wasn't for her. And it's not that like she rejuvenates me, she just allows me to be me. And I don't have to constantly have up those walls of protection where I feel like I have to be guarded at all times. She is literally my best friend in the world, and she brings me back to a place that says, listen, not everybody hurt you. Not everybody is going to try to hurt you, so you don't need to be so guarded all the time. And she doesn't even use those words. It's just her presence that tells me that I don't have to be that way. I can still be protective in all of those things, but I don't need to be the douchey asshole that I was at different points in my life. It relaxes me in ways that I never knew that I could be. She is so supportive in so many different things that I want to do. She never, not that anybody ever has, but she doesn't break my balls about brewing or hanging out in our man cave area, watching sports or any of those things. I just love that we work so well together, and we didn't communicate great in the beginning, but a lot of that was due to the dynamic of where we wanted to be and where we were when we first met, and trying to navigate all the ups and downs and the yin and the goods and the bads and the really, really hard times and then the really, really good times. And, I think we're really at a place where we're kind of past all of that. Now we can just focus on us and our future, and all of the stuff that we went through to get to this point is exactly what it is. It's the past. And it's nice to finally be at a place where all of that stuff is gone, and we can just work on, all right, here's our foundation. Let's add another brick. Let's add another brick. Let's add another brick. And let's put on an extension, and let's do this and let's do that. And it is the most pleasant experience ever. People say when you find your person, and I don't even like that term, or the other term that people say it a lot. I don't really like it. I'm not a fan of it. Is they're living their best life. Well, are they? I don't know if this is my best life, but it is absolutely my best life to date. And I hope this isn't my best life. I want my best life to be as happy as I am right now. I want that to be 1,000,000 times magnified. So that's why I dislike that they're living their best life. Well, they're living, they have a good life right now. We don't know if that's their best life. So that's why I am not a huge fan of that term. And coming from where I've been and coming through some of the things that Audrey and I have had to deal with to even get to this point, I think the best is yet to come. It's really great right now. It is literally the happiest and the most relaxed and I've ever been in my life. And I have the best partner in the world that I don't want to do anything without her. For instance, like I was exhausted the other night putting Cameron down, and I fell asleep while he was going, when he fell asleep, and Audrey came up to wake me up, and in the process of her waking me up, Cameron woke up, and then, she didn't intentionally wake him up. I think it was just kind of like how everything played out, and and she felt bad about me falling asleep, and Cameron was kind of asleep, and then Cameron sat up when she came up, and she was like, I'll get him to go back to sleep, like, you go down and go to bed. The thing about her is that if she's not next to me, I can't fall asleep. When I was laying there that night and she was like, just go to sleep, it's fine, I'll take care of it. She came downstairs and she was like, I thought you were tired. You're like, why didn't you go to sleep? I can't sleep without her being there or without knowing that she's there. And it makes me think about the job that I'm in. And there could be a potential where I have to go someplace for something. The good thing is that the company I work for lets you travel with your person, with your wife, with your girlfriend, with your significant other for trips or trainings or some other things. So I'm happy about that, because I'll tell you what, like, I would dread going away on some kind of a business related thing and not be able to have her with me. That's how important she is to me. She is everything that balances me out. And to be honest, like, I don't want to be away from my family and my life and my house. Like, we all work very, very hard on a regular basis to be able to own the things we do, and I want to be able to enjoy mine. This is the best house I've ever owned. It is the nicest house I've ever owned. This place feels like home for us, and that's where I want to be. That's where I want to put my head down at the end of the night. And all of those things, like, happiness is not just a virtue. Happiness is what you make it, and your willingness to be able to have something that you think is worthy of making you happy, and then you opening yourself, taking your walls down, and being receptive to all of that. If you can't be receptive to it, then maybe you're not ready to be happy yet. And that's not a knock on anybody. That's just the reality of it. It's very similar to addicts. The addict can go in and out of rehabilitation and detox and all those things a million times. But it could be the millionth and one time where it clicks in their head that they are ready for that change. That's where the real work and all that other stuff comes into play, when you're actually ready and you're willing to be receptive to the change. Not everybody is in that place. Some people force it, which leads to be, some relationships that can be rocky. Mine is not that, and I am very blessed that it is not that. The other thing that is going on right now, which I feel absolutely, terrible about, is the state of our country and the government shutdown and all of the things that are being taken away. And I kind of touched on it a little bit in the last episode, and I just want to kind of follow up on it real quick. All these SNAP benefits and all this kind of stuff that are, not going to get paid now that we're into November. There's a lot of people that aren't going to get that money. And there's a lot of speculation that people are saying that they're going to rob others as they leave a grocery store to get what they need and whatever else. And I don't agree with that. Here's the thing, that there's I think it's a double-edged sword when you talk about this, because yes, there are absolutely people that are on these programs to help them be able to get back on their feet. And those people tend to use these programs for that, to get back on their feet. It's not a situation where it becomes a full-time job for them. It pays their rent and it pays their food and does all that stuff, and then you can go work off the books and you're enjoying all the benefits and stuff of these programs while you're making a bunch of money under the table, right? So the people that are using them for what they are, which is a way to stabilize and get you back on your feet, and then when you are back on your feet, then you come off these programs. And then there's a whole nother demographic, and I don't give a shit what anybody says. It's not a race thing. It's not any of that stuff, because it happens throughout our country in multiple different neighborhoods by multiple different people, multiple different backgrounds and whatever else. These benefits aren't to be used as a full-time job. And, for those people that do work full-time and pay into these programs to be able to, God forbid, help themselves, help a family member, help a friend, help a neighbor, do any of those things to get back on their feet. Because let's be honest, shit happens and people lose their jobs and whatever else, and sometimes you just need a little help. And that's what the program is for. But for the people that are just living off of it and they're continuing to have kids and do all these things because they have all this excess income coming from these programs, to support all of this stuff. Meanwhile, they're not working and paying into it. That's where I have a problem. So that's what I mean. I'm divided on these programs and with the shutdown. Like I 100% think that the government should have been open by now, and it's disheartening and it's disgusting that the people that we voted in those positions can't come together and figure it out. And again, I don't care how you see things politically. That's just the way it is. It's not just a now thing. This has happened before, where the government had shut down and one side chose not to meet the other side in the middle to be able to get things moving. It ended up being kind of a pissing match, and that's ridiculous. I think what this will do is it'll force people that were living off of these programs to have to get back to work. I don't want to say I love these programs, but they are there for a reason. And the reason is not to be your only way to support yourself. It's supposed to be a crutch that helps you get back on your feet when you need it the most. And only these programs, only the assistance for living and the assistance for food and all of that stuff, those programs alone. I won't add any of the healthcare stuff into that because, let's be honest, some people just don't make enough money to be able to buy the insurance that they need. And here in Connecticut, the state insurance here is really good. They'll take it anywhere, and it covers a lot of stuff. So if you're making underneath the threshold and you're paying for insurance from work, you should probably just get it from the state. That's not a knock on you as an individual because you work full time and you already paying into these benefits. So you're paying into the insurance that that people are using within the state to cover their health insurance. So don't pay for it twice. That's all I'm saying is, like, the health insurance you're going to get from the state is a million times better. So if you meet that threshold, just use the state insurance. It's phenomenal. My niece is on it because my sister doesn't make a ton of money, and her insurance is great. It doesn't matter where she goes or what happens or whatever else. Like, it's always covered, and that's a phenomenal program. That's tax dollars being used for something good. So enough about all that. Hopefully this shutdown gets fucking fixed and we can get back rolling into a normal state of our country, or whatever a normal state of this country is. I'm glad I was able to share with you guys this week. Thank you again for listening. Again, please check out the social media pages and definitely check out the YouTube page because I'll be posting a video and there'll be like a quick little short or whatever I put up on Instagram, but the full thing will be on YouTube for sure. So thank you guys very much for listening. We'll talk to you guys next week. Don't be shy. Feel free to hit me up on the social media pages. Thank you again, guys.